これ今録画中ですって出てるかな？大丈夫かな？
うん、出てる。これってあれかな、台湾の学生さんもにも話すイメージの方がいいかな。
そうね。
うん。
じゃあ。All right, so let's get started. Thank you very much all for joining us. And I'm very excited to, like, I've been waiting for this moment to have the first session, like the PBL in English. It's so funny that we never really had it before, even though the name of our organization is called Global Center. So perhaps, except Yasuhiro-kun, people might know a bit about Global Center, but I'd like to give a bit of introduction later on as well. So please bear with it. Yeah. Okay, so welcome to Kyoto Taiwan collaboration, everyone. Let's see. So there you go. First of all, who are we? Of course, a good question. And perhaps like many of you know, like Saya and me, but there's a new, very handsome gentleman called Corey. The main person of this session is joining us today, and we're just going to give a bit of introduction about ourselves. Okay, so start from me. So who knows Global Center? Brilliant. Well, Matsumoto-kun, very nice to meet you. And so Global Center, as you can tell, Gloco means basically think global, but act in loco. So it's like the name of the combination for two words. And as you can read here, we aim to develop individuals as global human resources who can grasp world trends with a global perspective, blah, blah. So, but basically our mission is to give opportunities and places for like people where people can actually study and learn to gain like a bigger perspective, like a global perspective, but still be very passionate to live in a local area in an active way and be approached to strive this mission or our visions. We run PBL like this. PBL means project-based learning, like letting students to learn things through the process of solving problems, you know, and trying to find an answer for the many different kind of questions. And that is the main thing that we've been doing through the last nearly 8 years. So we've been collaborating with the many different kind of companies and the students. And also, not like it's very important that not only students, but also like the people from the companies can actually learn from the way of thinking, like on the young people's side as well. So we believe that learning always has to be the mutual work in progress. So anyway, if you're interested in, you can just type in Global Center Kyoto and Google will give you the link to our website. So please check it out. If we start like talking about Global Center, like I cannot stop like finishing the story until like maybe the end of the spring. So I'll just cut it here because the most important thing is the core, it's the story later. So just to introduce myself quickly, my name is Hila Yamada, one of the coordinator of Global Center. My background was more in like the art field before I started working in Global Center, or I am still working in the service industry. So I work for a bar, which I also love. And I've spent like 6 months in London, which you can tell from my very posh accent. So for the Global Center, I what am I doing at the Global Center? Well, this is the problem. Like, we have so many different kind of jobs. I mean, the project that we assigned in, sometimes I had to ask myself, like, wait a minute, what is my position? What is my role? But basically, I do make and run workshops or seminars for companies. And also now, like, I'm designing the PBL, and also I'm an organizer of international entrepreneurs community. And just because I did a little bit of art, I'm also in charge of kind of designing on a website and PO materials and etc. etc. But right now, my biggest role is to run the place. I mean, to organize the place where Matsumoto-kun came before, called
I will show you.
yes, Student Lab in question. So now Saya is showing. So again, you can like put question Kyoto, and then the website will come up. But most importantly, this floor that we're in at the moment is a place where students can use for free, absolutely free. And it has a function to be able to meet many new people who visit question, and they have completely different various backgrounds, so that you can get opportunity to learn what kind of life opportunities, I mean, options you would have, or will it give you many hints about what kind of thing you would be actually interested in to live your future as well. So yeah, like that. I love eating, drinking, singing, dancing, and I love earth. I love nature. So yeah. Anyway, if you have any personal questions, you can ask me later. So I'll just pass the board to Saya.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Saya from Global Center. I'm founder of SNPO. Yeah, and I'm student of my life. This is always says. I love the way introduce myself. And let me tell you how we met, how I get to know Kore. So back to 2019, I was in Brazil. I attended a conference, and and I joined the B Corp workshop, and I met Thomas. And you know about B Corp? If you don't know, you can ask Corey. And I asked him, like, who is the leader of B Corp? And the Corey is one of the leaders leading this movement. So I next month I fly to Taiwan. 次のスライドお願いします。Yeah. And this is the first time we met. So two years, almost 2 years. And he inspires me a lot. Today he will tell you who he is, and you will be inspired from him, I'm sure. So I'm super excited this collaboration with Colin. Yeah.
Hey, and now, well, this is actually an amazing slide. So Corey, I know you're going to have a bigger part to introduce everything about yourself, but perhaps can you say hello and give a short version of the introduction, please? Oh, wait, you want to meet.
Is it coming?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Corey, and it's a great pleasure meeting you here. And I'm really glad to hear that this is the first English section. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to bridge the world right now, because there's so many things going on that needs the world to work together. So I was really inspired when Saya and Hela told me about Glycol and what you intended to do, one of the most ancient cities in the world. and we have the opportunity to connect and make changes. I, like what Saya say, I'm a student of life.
Yeah.
So, like, I think this is the whole journey is learning about why are we here and what are we going to do here. So that's kind of a highlight of what I do. And I'll share with you guys some more later with the slides. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So at least now you know like the names of ours, and I'd like to explain again what kind of session is going to be about, and also why we'd like to strive this PBL. Surely, like so many of you actually read the description about this event already, but again, I've put some keywords on this slide. And as you can see, Kyoto, DOMI, poverty, energy consumption, paper, transportation. So Kyoto, DOMI, that are going to be the foundation, like fundamental organization where like you're standing on to solve all these problems in below, like poverty, energy consumption, in Kyoto. But first of all, the thing is that, as Corey said, you get so much information online in the news, which is happening in all over the world. And those issues seem so huge and big that I myself sometimes feel so like needless or even powerless, and then easily feel upset and tired of facing all these problems, or even to feel motivations or positive about living in the future, But then I think now like we are also in very good time that through this kind of tool like Zoom, you can actually collaborate beyond the border lines and nationalities and tackle all those issues, social issues together. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it would have been so much more difficult. And so, as I also Global Center, I think this is definitely one of the genuine mission that we should make it into an action and then work on it with as many as young, talented, and diverse people. But again, of course, there's always a bit of language, but like barrier, So we've been doing that only in English, only in Japanese before. But because we met Corey, we were like, this is the time where we actually bring it into the next level and then try out to use English, which is one of the language that the biggest amount of population in the world can kind of use and understand. So I think still so many like students that I talked to in Kyoto, they felt such a pressure and nervousness of using English, even though they're interested in that. And in the same time, they don't have that much place to actually practically using the language, and doing something with people who are interested in the same things. So especially under the circumstance, there are so many students who were very much looking forward to studying abroad, and they simply couldn't do it. So for them, keeping the motivation for studies and like keep up with their curiosity has been getting very difficult in last 1 year. And same as for foreign international students in Kyoto, they came to Kyoto to make friends and then study about this place, and yet they just couldn't have the chance because of the corona. So all the like kind of situation circumstances like came into the same place, But this is also where we see it as a great chance to start something new. So again, I'd like to make a great project team with the people who are genuinely passionate about solving the social issues, and I also work with people regardless their nationalities together. And I think that this is going to bring a new model that everyone can use to solve bigger problems in the world together. So maybe it was a little bit abstract still, but don't worry, Kore is going to explain everything about what we are going to try to do after this. So are you ready, Kore?
I'm good. Bye.
Okay.
So should I take over?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen. And okay, is it coming out? Okay.
Yeah.
So konnichiwa, everybody.
Konnichiwa.
May I hear you, kind of tell me who you are? I'd like to hear your voice
nice.
and kind of get an understanding of you. If you can. And then I'm having a hard time pronouncing your name also, so you'll help me. Thank you. So who likes to go first, please?
Marina.
Should I introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my name is Marina Hata. I'm actually the last grade of high school students, and my graduation ceremony is actually coming up, and I'm a bit nervous, but yeah, I'm so excited to join this kind of activity as well, and I'm so excited, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Nice
Marina.
to meet you.
All right. Everybody else go?
Mm-hmm. I love this silence. Oh, Yasuhiro, that's all.
So I'm Yasuhiro Matsumoto. I'm university student, second grade university student in the Ryukoku University. I measured the political science in university, and
nice. Okay.
I do the PBL activity in the school, the subject, but it is the only in Japanese the activities. So I want to do the PBL activity beyond the border. So I join the workshop now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. We got two more persons. Thank you. Go ahead, please. Nanako, right? Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Nanako, and I'm second year of university, and my major is tourism management. And actually, I'm a student. I'm a university student in Malaysia. However, because of COVID-19, I'm staying in Kyoto now. I'm happy to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what are you, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the program. What are you studying?
My major?
Yeah.
Tourism management.
Tourism management. Okay. So that's the tough one going up, going forward. All right. Thank you. All right. Now we have Katsuma, if I'm right.
Hello. I'm Kazuma Hada, and I'm Kobe University student, grade 4th, and I major in political education. And this spring, I will graduate from this university. So now I'm joined Global Center Global internship program.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. And
Thank
was there
you.
somebody, thank you. Was there somebody in the UN program that Hila mentioned? Is the person going to be here?
No, unfortunately, he might be joining later. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Kazuma is here, and he was actually giving his own event before, and he said he will be up to join this session as well. So yeah.
Sure, perfect. Because I was interested in the PhD program there. I wanted, that's one of my excuses to go to Tokyo.
I see. Hopefully he will come and join it later.
Yeah, I'm gonna go live there for a couple of weeks, and that was my intent. But okay, all right. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about my own journey. So I am a bad student, so I couldn't do well in my own country with our own education system. So my parents took me to Canada when I was very, very little. I was in last year of junior high, and then I was put there by myself, and I went through like high school, universities, and then I went through Doctor of Chiropractic there. And so, but I'd like to share with you my journey of be the change for the world you seek. So Saya was mentioning about B Corp, and I like to share with you how, it was a great excitement for me to understand that there's actually you can use business corporations to make change for the world instead of having there be the issue of the world. Okay, so so that's something called B Corp, and I like to show you how I got to this B Corp journey, and my discovery in it. So I mentioned that I was in high school in Canada, and I was really bored because you guys might know the Canadian or US education system. You don't really have much to do. They keep everything open. So it's not like in Taiwan, we get all the classes. We have to go to after classes. But it's quite free there. So I was there by myself. One summer, my dad came to Canada, and I told him I was bored. And he said, well, go make money, right? And then go be on your own. So I started the first business when I was 17, doing pharmaceutical business and healthcare equipment. And because I was a volleyball player, so that was my first product, right? So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is I was going through program university in physiology. And then my last education was Doctor of Chiropractic. Right? And that was during year 2000, so 20 years ago. And that's when internet came. So I really felt like I had to do something about internet. So at the last year of my school, I started up an internet company and raised $7 million US. And then the company went public in 2003. So I raised the capital from my customer in high school, and these are mainly pharmacies and drugstores. And then the business went public in 2003. And then after the company went public, I realized I don't know much about public market. I don't know much about finance. So I went to the #1 school in the world for finance, the University of Chicago, for MBA. And then in that journey, I know how to scale size even better. I know how to conquer, I know how to make things bigger, right? And so, and I was in that program, I have opportunity to meet with because a lot of Taiwan's politicians are also University of Chicago graduates. So the head of the KMT party, and then the president. And so I was interacting with these people when I was 26, when I was going through the program, right? And then I started from the University of Chicago, and with the money that I have from IPO, I started investing in very different kind of business. So this one is it's a e-commerce high fashion website in China, and this business we raised about 13 million. The company has about 164 people. We have our own buildings in Beijing, and because of that, it was a fashion business. I don't know much about fashion, so I went to Milan for design school. So I went to DOMI Academy, which is the top 3 design school in the world. And then the business was listed in China, in Asia's Wall Street Journal. And I was hanging out with basically fashion people all the time. So the guy on the left is the founder for Philips Cherio. And then the lady on the bottom is CEO of Swarovski, right? So that was my life, it was all about like, fashion. I was going into parties, and I was going to runway shows in New York, in Milan. That's what I do, okay? And so what happened, after all this? So the part I mentioned about the student of life is that was what I know about success. We go to school, we be successful, and the definition of success is you make more money, right? And you spend more time in business, and then you just do more, and then you do more of it, and you get a driver drive you everywhere to try to talk to more people, and then do more business. And what well, during that time, something happened is that my first daughter was born. So Dudu was born at that time. And then, and I started to feel in that 1 year that I only spent 10 minutes with her, like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, right? And everything happened in between. My house, I have maids and nannies to take care of my house, right? And take care of her. And it doesn't feel right. It's something wrong, but I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel right. And then, so that's to do. The one, let me see if I can put something here. So that's to do. Can you guys see that?
Oh my God, so cute.
Yeah.
And then that's Puka.
Mhm.
And then, and this is Mumu, okay? So, so like in that time, because China was having a lot of problem with the government is trying to press down on expensive stuff, luxuries. So I have an opportunity to stop what I'm doing. And then I came back to Taiwan. And when I came back to Taiwan, this is, let me see this. This is what happened. Let me show you guys the video. Can you guys see, like, what do you guys see over here?
Wow, the air pollution.
Right. So this was when Puka was 4 months old, and we were going through the street in Kaohsiung, and that happened. And then and my wife Tammy, she picked up Puka because Puka was at the pollution level. The trolleys, but also that's where the cars and the motorcycles going through. And that night, I started thinking, I left Taiwan for about 20 years. So 10 years in North America, 10 years in China. But after 20 years, I come back to Kaohsiung, the city is still the same. The problem's still the same. But how come within this 20 years, the world changed so much? We're so close to each other because of communication technology. We have all these things that make things happen so quickly, but how come nothing changed? For Kaohsiung, for my home city, for a city that when something is wrong in my life, that's the city that I go back to, my home, right? That's the same for you. For some of you, maybe it's Kyoto, maybe some other places in Japan, right? So I found out how come there is government doing something, there's environmental NGOs doing something, and the awareness of people understanding that environment is in trouble, and the trouble is coming from human. The awareness is much, much higher now, but the problem is actually bigger than before. So why is that, right? So so I started looking into what the main issue is. So I created an organization called DOMI. DOMI is Latin for home, and I started looking into, so this whole issue is about environment and climate. There's something called Paris Agreement, which before Paris Agreement was the Kyoto Agreement. So this is why I'm so excited that we have this opportunity to talk about this, because the whole world has consensus. 154 countries in the world said we should let the environment, right now we're 1 degree above the previous level, industrial level. And let's let the environment go to 2 degrees and then stop there. That is the very wrong approach. That the 154 countries agree that let our world get worse and then hold it there, right? And so this didn't make sense to me when we look at what countries are doing, country governments are doing, right? And I understand their difficulty, but that is the consensus that they have, is that we can only let it go worse and then hold it there. Right? So last year, right now, the projection is 2.1 degrees, end of last year. That means that the world will get to the point of no return by 2030, right? So this is why we have to do something. So DOMI was founded to reverse climate change. We don't want to make the world better. We want to reverse it to make sure that we get to the level that we want, right? And so we calculated that we need to reduce 17.3 gigatons of carbon emission, right? And I have no idea what that means before. And then turns out that means that we have to drop 44% of carbon emission in the world. So almost 50% of what we're doing right now needs to cut half, okay? So that gives me to think about the approach very differently, because then we can no longer just work on our own, but we have to work together. Because even if we do good in Kyoto and we do good in Taipei, we're still not gonna reach the 44%. We have to work on this together. And that goes back to Glyco's mission. That to me, I think environment, to me, in terms of climate, it's very, very local, because everything happened in our own country, in our own city. So there's 44 carbon emission come from Asia, right? So this is the main part that we need to tackle together. And so, towards the end of last year, I started an initiative with a lot of people to have corporation made a commitment for net zero, to create zero emission for their own companies. And we need to do this within five years so that we can give the world enough time by 2030 to make this change. And it's great that there's a lot of companies participating in this right now. There's 18 companies in Asia right now committed to net zero. So Takeda from Japan is also doing the same. Patagonia is doing that. And then there's more companies joining this pathway right now that they're committed to achieve net zero. Just last week, Winkler Partner, a law firm, already achieved carbon neutral. Right? So out of this 18, there's already a company make this happen. So that means that all other company has the potential to do it. And then we started an initiative called RE10x10. So these are larger companies, right? The 18 companies over here. But the RE10x10 is for small stores that you can purchase 10% of your energy from green energy, and then the other 10% to reduce your energy so you can accomplish 20% reduction for your own cities and countries. And this movement actually we work with Greenpeace. And Greenpeace just launched it in Japan, so you guys can look for it. Okay, so that's basically what I do. Is that I for myself, I think we have to work together in a lot of different areas so that the changes can come together. And I like to now go into the discussion that I have with Glyco and with you, is that we want to bring the students and corporations together and across borders to learn from each other to implement a solution in different countries. So let me introduce what DOMI is doing first. So DOMI's mission is about reverse climate change. So we focus on three things. One, technology to drive net zero. Two, energy educations for kids, for adults, and energy justice. And energy justice is the main topic that I'm going to share. Did you guys all have the chance to look at the video before that was sent out to you? If not, I'll show it later. But if I can know if you guys watched it or haven't watched it yet. Anybody watched it yet? If not, I'll show it, during our conversation. No, not yet. Okay. Okay. Then okay. So when I look at each country or each city, I look at 5 things: municipal government, corporations, NGOs, poverty households, and stores. These are the 5 most important elements that if these 5 entities moves together, then the changes in the society can happen very fast. And so DOMI on one hand work with corporations and government to achieve net zero and ESG. And we create progress with IKEA and Zurich and Synosis. These are electronic companies, logistic companies, and retails to come up with ways, a pathway for them to get to net zero, to reduce their electricity, to reduce their carbon emission, to neutralize their carbon emission, and eventually reach net zero. So we create workshop with different corporations, mainly with the employee. We create something called 4 days to sustainability. So a company can create an employee day, family day, supplier day, and customer day, so that they have approach to engage all their stakeholders in this program. And then we work with Tesla to bring their drivers come back to the Tesla office, and then we have a workshop for them to understand energy management, right? And this is the energy management children's book that we have that has 11 languages right now that people can learn about what they can do at home. And then this is the device that we gave for them that they can change how their energy is used at home. So these are all very simple technologies, but But the main part is that we want people to understand that they can do something right away in their own home and their own schools and their own buildings. So I want to get into the part about energy justice. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with energy justice or climate justice, meaning that the people that use the most energy or the people that produce the most carbon emission are not the ones suffer the most. It's somebody else, okay? So for example, for electricity that we're using is relatively cheap for all of us, but it's very expensive for poverty households to pay. Even though their electricity has subsidy, it's still very expensive for them. So we created this program to reach out to poverty households. And these households are in poverty for all different kind of reasons. But for example, in Taiwan, we have about 13% of family it's in this situation, right? So we have 3 classes. So about 4,000 people, 50,000 people, and 250,000 people, right? And these people are poverty household. For example, the class 1, the 4,000 people, they have 0 income. The second class has about 8,000 to 10,000. So that's about 300 US dollars. How much is that in yen?
Oh, it's like 100-ish, 120.
I think 30,000 yen, right?
$1, right?
Yeah, it's about or like 30 pounds. It's roughly about 300 pounds.
Hey, 300 pounds. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about like 4万ぐらいかな。4万弱。300 pounds だったら。
50円ぐらいな。
Yeah. ちょっと、
Okay.
it's getting it. Yeah, yeah. But like from like 3万5千 to like 4万円ぐらい. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't quite get that, but okay.
Oh, sorry, 35,000 yen to like 40,000 yen.
40,000 yen. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. So for the households, like in Taiwan, and the Japan's case will be a little different, but this is in general quite international standard in terms of poverty. So these households are living in poverty, and their incomes are from 0 to maybe 30,000 yen, 40,000 yen, right? So we started this program to go into the households, and let me show the program if you guys haven't had an opportunity to watch it yet. And I want to see if the Japanese comes out. Can you guys hear it?
No, we can't hear the sound.
Okay, let me. Okay, give me a second. Hella, is there any way that you can play on your side? And,
oh yeah, perhaps I can. Let me
send you the link.
Well, like I can just open the YouTube.
Okay. So here's the link. And we were talking about language, so we're putting Japanese on it. On the bottom of the subtitle. And Ella, if you can take over the sharing. Thank you.
Cool. Can you hear the sound at the moment?
No.
Okay. Sound sharing.
When you enter the Zoom, you can change the setting actually. So
there it goes.
Later we can edit this video. So maybe. Oh no,
it's coming.
Yeah, we can hear.
It's coming. Okay.
I'm just gonna make it louder. Oh, sorry, bigger. There we go.
PBL 实际上是一个就是关于说怎么样用企业的力量 去带动社会跟环境的改善。以台湾来讲，34万人是属弱势家庭的。那我们就想说，那首先第一件事情，要把台湾的第一级的能源品种征信先完成。
照明是一个基本人类生活应该要需要的东西，然后也带给另外一群需要希望的人，让他们觉得自己有一个另外一个重新开始的一个可能性。
表现车子哦。
我们到每个家庭里头，从公司出发的时候，会有计程车师傅带着他们一起去跑遍台北市各地。我们都会包含了1位到2位园丁，那主要是做访视的工作。另外1位就是我们的水电师傅。那其实这过程很好玩，就是我们觉得这是一个多好的福利。在这过程当中，有闭门羹真的很多，很多都是不要跟我讲话，不要跟我讲，啪就把我们电话挂了。我们就一直在思考为什么会是这样的情况。其实也许真的是因为现在的 public trust。公众信任太低，其实这个执行过程对我们团队很挑战。
因为老人家大部分眼睛都不太清楚嘛，换了之前就比这个亮度差不多差了一半，这个哇一打开就好开心了。
上次去拜访秦小姐的那户家庭，她就是那个单亲妈妈，然后照顾2个小朋友，就还蛮开心，就是我们去给她换之后就整个亮起来。
刚好我这样的灯管坏很久了，我不会弄。刚好不要，让水都送他。
我弟弟呢，他因为长期卧床，我们要帮他清伤口了什么，太暗，所以我们还买的那个手电筒啊，其他 LED 的那个小灯来用。换了之后非常亮，换了之后连他们那个居家照护的人上面来看，哦，你好亮哦。真的帮我很大忙，我们反正很幸运有帮忙，至少这一部分问题帮我们解决。
像我们去的，他们环境本来很差，那经过我们改装之后，那整个灯源啊、环境啊减少很多，这是一个社会福利，本来就应该让他们享受到。
我记得那一天我们的园丁打回来，然后有一户情况真的很糟糕，他们看不下去，所以他希望自己买一点灯。送给他，师傅回来就说：“哎呦，我们还好手好脚爬得起来，我们不就是帮他再跑一趟，去帮他换灯？我有这个能力就已经是很幸福的。”那这个家庭之后，其实过年前，我们没有料到他会特别写卡片来谢谢我们。这是真的过程当中每一个小环节很感动。
帮这个社会节能减碳，这个环保，那甚至说有点。关怀这个需要关怀的朋友，才明白说工作之余，那背后还可以有一些意义在。
那也因为过去在社会企业世界论坛缘分，认识到巴拉圭基金会的伙伴，才关注到说原来有一套系统是专门针对贫穷去判断说，虽然你贫穷，但是每个人 poor in different way。所以他们有一套机制是有50个 indicator， 然后家庭自己去 self assessment， 然后他的答案就会是红灯、黄灯、绿灯。那也希望未来这套工具能够跟社福单位或是政府机关去合作、去运用，可以集结更多的力量，直接帮助到这些家庭里面很红灯的地方。
我们有办那个绿 party， 回馈弱势家庭。我跟他们玩游戏的过程中，把我们的这个对环境保护的心，就是植入他的 DNA 这种感觉。
社会的底层还有很多人是没有被报道、没有被新闻看到，但是他们是真的也很需要帮助的。
我们希望能够去对接其他的资源，然后让这些资源再针对这几个点再去协助这些家庭。
因为我们看到说一个灯点亮对这些家庭有多重要，既然没人做，我们就来做。而且我相信我们的用心会让案子有它的价值的地方。
So in this journey that we found out that there is, we use very simple things, right? We go into the households, we change their lighting from regular light to LED. That drops about 20% of their energy consumption. And that's the extra money that they receive. But at the same time, that we capture what is going on inside the house. So we work with an organization in Paraguay to create a poverty assessment. So we understand when a household's inside a poverty situation, why are they in poverty, right? And this data can help us identify, it's red, yellow, and green. So the households inside of poverty because of they have smaller income, or if it's because somebody else in the household has health problem, or if it's they don't have opportunity to engage with outside education organization, so that they don't have help. So when we talk to the social workers in Taiwan, they say that usually the poverty household don't let people go inside. But because we are changing their light bulb, so we have opportunity to go inside their washroom, their kitchens, and then understand what's going on. And because we're inside, we have a chance to have a conversation with them. And that conversation can help us capture this data. And the data can be helpful for other organizations to help them to collaborate. So far we went through 4,000 households in Taiwan, and this one-time intervention can create 10 years effects for them, right? In terms of money saving, and in terms of these energy data. So right now we're in 7 cities in Taiwan. And the household look like this. It's all different kind of level of poverty. Depends on if you're going to, in general, Taiwan's poverty is quite low, but if you go into it still, you'll be surprised how bad it is, even though some of the basic infrastructure is good. So at the same time, because we capture these, what we call poverty stoplights, we capture their financial situations, their insurance situations, so that we understand what kind of problem they're facing. So for example, the question number 3 is, do they have any loans? Do they have access to loan? Do they have savings? Do they have insurance? Do they have skills or knowledge about creating their income, for question 30? Do they know how to plan a budget? Or how, question 49 is, how's their entrepreneurial spirit, right? Okay, ability to create something from nothing. So what we realize is that almost 64% of people don't have a proper place to get a loan if they need money, right? Even though there's a lot of banks trying to help, they have like poverty loans and all these programs, but the household don't know much about it at all, right? And then 63% don't have any savings. They don't have insurance, even though Taiwan government have an annual, the micro insurance that they can get, they only have to pay maybe about 5,000 yen a year, but they don't know about it. So there's 56% of people don't have insurance, right? So process like this, we are working with 3 universities and a US university to publish these findings right now. And on 2021, SAGE will be publishing in all the US universities about this business school, about this situation. And so that's what we have been doing in the past to go into households to help to use a simple technology like LED to reduce their costs, and then but at the same time understand what other things that needs to be done for this household go from poverty to a regular home, right? And then with the money they save, potentially they can put that money into insurance or put that money into savings. But what we realize is that we discover another issue, because in the society, what we found out is that we need to find resources to do what we do, right? Right now, we finished 4,000 households, but there's 140,000 households in Taiwan that we need to go into, right? So during the time that we're trying to think of resources, we discovered another issue, which is, I think you might be able to read some of these words, right? So we discovered missing trees. So there's about 250,000 of trees that gets cut down to send invoices to all of us, right? Your bank credit card statement, your phone bill, your telephone, your TV bills. So in Taiwan, basically, about 42% come from banking, 29% from telecom company, 17% from public utility like electricities and water, and then publishing and magazines and all these other services. So we decided to combine these two things, right? To one, find ways to reduce paper. And then on the other hand, to plant the seeds to help the households, okay? So let me show you a video on this. This is the second thing that we. Should I try it here or let you play it?
Yeah, like if you could send me the link, I can put it.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. Give me a second. Sorry, my headphone just went off.
No worries. So you get to show the video, right?
Yes, the second video that I sent you.
Okay.
If you can you play for me, please? Thank you.
Is this one? No, wait.
I sent it on the did I send it through the group? Sorry, give me a second. My mistake. It just went through right now.
Okay, no worries.
Let me give you a shot. Okay, it's good. All right, thank you.
用户吗？当水费、电费、瓦斯费等基本生活能源费用超过一个家庭总收入10%，即可定义为能源贫穷户。在台湾，有许多经济弱势家庭，同时也是能源贫穷户。家里不敢开灯，甚至灯具坏了，父母没有经济能力更换。而老旧耗能的电器，也让这些家庭每期账单居高不下。在担心断水、断电的压力下，只好先缴清能源账单。牺牲的不仅是孩子的教育金及餐费，更是整个家庭的未来。我们要如何帮助他们？其实很简单，现在只要申请电子或行动账单，除了节能减碳，还可与台新及全台首家 B 型企业DOMI绿燃能源，帮助能源贫穷户更换节能的 LED 灯，省去电费，为他们的生活点亮新希望。马上扫 QR code 或点此链接申办。
Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. So what we discovered is that these bills are very expensive for banks, and but it needs consumers' permission to change to electronic. Okay, so we work with the banks to create this communication about what people can do if they change their paper invoices to e-bills. Then the banks will provide that money for DOMI to go into the households to do all the LED changes, poverty assessments, and interaction with the households. And the last 2 years, we aggregated more than 1 million people in Taiwan to participate in this. And this was only through the communication from two banks, Taixing Bank and then Jingchen Banks, right? So what we discovered is that when we find innovation design, which we do practice that in the business world, and we turn that into a social energy and a social capital. So what we do is that we communicate with the general public about their power to make change. Every person in the society that has a bill, a paper bill, can make changes, right? By just simply convert to electronics. And that changes started to ripple because one, it reduced paper. So we cut down less than 25 million trees, right? The second, it reduced the transportation of shipping this to everybody's house. It reduced the recycling because once we throw it away, it has to go back to the recycle system. And then reduce the bank's money, which is your money, right? If they spend more money, they charge you more. And then the money that's saved, bank put that into the poverty households that help reduce the pressure for households on lightings, on poverties. And then all of us can be part of the person that make these changes, right? Because it's in a way simpler because each of us can be part of this. We can go talk to the bank about this approach. We can go talk to our classmates to change their billing. We can talk about our classmates. They can go home to change. We can talk to corporates to send these emails to their employees to make the change. And when this change happens, the banks comes up and sponsor these programs so that we can have a way to continue to do this to change our own society. So if we're looking to Kyoto, going forward in your research, perhaps there are particular demographic groups that we want to target on as a way to set up a pilot that we can look at maybe elderly household, maybe we can look at single mothers, single fathers, or different kind of things that we can work with the city and then have the banks be part of this. And this overall also brings the bank's public image, right? So this was the conversation that I had with Hela and Saya is that one, I think the whole world needs all of us to work together so that we can make this environmental change in a larger scale. And we don't have time to work on it on our own. So even though that DOMI might not be, DOMI is not in Japan, right? But you guys can take it over and work on this in your country, and then we can learn how to do this from each other and let it go faster. And then when we find ways to localize this, we can also together go to another country together to tell them that two of us is working together and works in our country, and let's invite other country in to work together. So that's the main philosophy of what Glyco's wanting to do. and also what DOMI is hoping that more people participate. And I really appreciate that we have this opportunity to really find ways to let this happen in Kyoto. So so I'll leave it here and see if you guys have any question about what we're doing, and then we can talk about things that we can going forward. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Corey. It was very powerful. So, I mean, once if I say, like, if there are any questions, and obviously myself and Saya will be like, me, I have this question, but like, this is not time for us. So yeah, now like three of you, Marina, Nana, Corey, is Hero. If you got any questions, like, can be anything, just feel free to ask Corey. This is a great chance. Is there anything you'd like to ask?
It's not kind of question, but kind of feedback. Is it okay?
Sure, you want to go.
Okay, so from next April, I will do the major of international relations or something like related to international issues. And I'm actually really passionate about like, especially poverty and education for the poor children. So that was a new perspective for me to know that technology and poverty, like technology poverty. So that was very good for me to know that there are some kinds of thing that is not actually related to children or poor countries, like poverty, but also like technology or like, related to SDGs 1, 7, and 11 or something like that. That was really good to, collaborate it together with me in, inside my brain. And that was really precious time for me. So that was really means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Monaco, do you have something?
Thank you for explaining. It was the first time to hear the energy poverty relating. Normally, I'm just interested in the nature or animal. However, if I really want to protect the nature and animals, I have to protect the human living. So it was so good expression for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of feel the same because during the last 6 years when I'm doing this, 75% of pollution come from 60 cities. Only 60 cities, okay? And Kyoto is one of it. Taipei is one of the cities. So if we do really good in the 60 cities, then the policy inside the companies will change because these companies live inside the city. Then the decision that they make about mining, about productions, about transportations, these decisions are not made in the mining farm, but it was made inside the city, inside the corporate office. So if we make changes in our own cities, then there's a possibility that because we're consumers, then there's a possibility for the corporation to change, then the nature environment can have a chance. Because before we're doing a lot of things on where the problem's happening, but we haven't done too much on the source of the problem. So that was the main. Yeah, thank you for that feedback. I think I feel the same way as you. Thank you.
Yes, Hero.
So that I will say feedback that I say that in the introduction I did the PBL action in the Japan. That it is protect the improve the air pollution with the vegetable in the Hameoka is the city of Kyoto, and so and your action resemble the action these in the PBL. So I was very passionate for your action. Thank you. To teach your the action today.
Thank you. Thank you. I think yeah, and I'm hoping for your your experience and what you're studying in school, because I think the thoughts is that this is something that have that we try to create, and then I think we can together we're able to improve it, especially with different cultures and societal understanding. I think there are ways to even make this better, and so that once we do it, then we can pass it to another group of people, and they can even make improvement on top of that. So all right, thank you.
Corey, sorry, one question that just because I'd like to people who are going to watch this later, also would like to hear that. You said it took you 6 years to get to where you are now, with the DOMI. And we talked about it before, that Kyoto is also one of the most traditional cities, and which means there are so many people who got traditional minds. And for them, like using technologies is a huge step, right? Especially for older generation and who are using like phones and credit card and stuff. I would say, like, relatively in Japan, I think the invoice that we get, especially for the credit card, has been transferred into like more an online process compared to 10 years ago. But still, like, it's such a difficult thing for some people to use technologies instead of actual paper and pen. And I think you had the same situation in Taiwan. But
yes,
how did you overcome that?
I think one part is that when we communicate, we need to show the example of others done the same thing that's in their same demographic or their same age groups. So we have people that 70 years old did this. And the second part is that why did these people do it, right? So I think the first one is that to demonstrate it works for a majority of people, that they're willing to do it. There's of course there's some challenges that needs to overcome, but at the same time, that challenge is overcome by the banks and them, because for them to adopt a new technology, it cannot be just showing them the data, but also make them in a way more easily to read, right? So that's one thing. And then the second part is that the people that made these changes, because they realized that yes, there is some learning and discomfort, but at the same time, the impact of what this can do it's much more than that discomfort or that challenges that they face. So it took us some time to communicate this, and then, you know, to have more than 1 million people participating in this right now. But what we realized is that when there's more people doing it, it becomes the cultural norm. And the initial group doing it, I think it's students and young people. And we have students going back home and change their parents and grandparents. And then, but it's very interesting when the students does it, because then the parents is like, sure, okay, I'll do it, right? Doesn't matter, it's not a big deal to them. But when the parents talking to banks, it becomes a big deal. But when ourselves talking to our parents, it's like, sure, why not? This is good. And I'm glad you're doing this, right? It's good for society, let's do it. So the conversation is different when it's different people talking about it. That's why I think, you know, we have opportunity with the universities, and then a younger, you know, the fresh graduates, that we can, these are the new force to change society always. And if we are able to gather these people, finding ways in our own cities and drive it, then we have a possibility.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's such a good point. Like, yeah, getting that information from people, that's like who you're getting that from. I think it matters a lot. Yeah. And
yes.
then that is the most effective way to have a chance to get away from the comfort zone. You know, so yeah, that's a really big tips. So any other questions? It's okay. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much again, Corey. That was such a great time to like see you actually like design, as you said, you're designing the innovation, you know. And I think that's also like one of the perspectives that we should learn as well. It's not just like doing it, but you're like drawing a whole picture of it, you know, and approaching to the things in the most practical way. So yeah, hopefully we will find a way to do that in Kyoto too. So now, like, I'd like to actually talk about what's going to happen, or like what's the plan for us to kick off this project. Just a moment, please. I'm gonna share the slide again. Okay. Sorry. Okay. There you go. Cool. So we're going to actually upload this today's session on YouTube channel of Glocal, and again we're going to give it a call for students who will be interested in joining this project with us. And in April, like hopefully in the beginning of April, we can actually kick off the official project, and then we're going to start from the research. Obviously, we need to research about what kind of poverty problems and then energy problems or energy poverty problems is going on in Kyoto. So then, as you can see, and then we're going to start to think about, or not we, but the team is going to think about how you can actually adapt the model of DOMI's action into Kyoto. Sorry, there was a very weird typo.
Should I share the slide?
No, it's okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna.
Oh.
And yeah, and then hopefully we can make the first version of the proposal and make an event where you can get many feedbacks as much as possible from different kind of sections. And then during the dry, like you can brush up the proposal, and in the end, we would like to deliver to the Kyoto city government to actually consider to start some actions to tackle the poverty and energy problems. And I think what will come up, like we don't know at the point yet. We definitely need to do a very good research about what problems we actually need to solve first in Kyoto. But again, definitely the strategy or the way of designing to make an innovation, which the DOMI did or is doing, will give us so much tips, like to realize the action. So yeah, hopefully you guys, well, Nanako is going to be in Malaysia perhaps in the spring. But time to time you can join us, and hopefully the students from Taiwan also can join us, and so that we can actually make the team beyond the borders as well. And then we see the we will stand on the start line in April. That's it. Do you have any questions? Also, just to add, still, this is a bit of like ambitious mind, but I'd like to make this project into longer term thing, but not just finishing like after a few months, but hopefully we can actually carry on it to go into the next phase where we can actually move our hands and foot and do something based on the proposal we make. That's it. Saya, would you like to say something?
Yeah. I just want to say thank you to Corey. Yes, and I'm so happy. Like now everyone knows Corey, and now everyone knows why he is here. And like Marina, she is inspired by him already. Yes, and I love your energy, Corey, and how you change, how you transform yourself and your activities. Like before you into fashion, and right now, you know, like climate change, he working on it. And I realize we cannot approach social problem without collaboration over borders and over generations and over fields. Like my NPO, like education fields, but we need to collaborate Kyoto City and business associate in Kyoto. So we need a strong team, young generation strong team. So I'm very looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, me too. I think having a different people from different group, it builds a very convincing approach to the corporations and to the cities. So so when Saya and Hila and I were talking about this, is that also will invite the students in Taiwan, and then the international student that's here. So right now there's a few people from Latin America will join, and then and there are students in Taiwan right now.
Nice.
And so like right now we have a timeline of, you know, April and May, and we want to put together a proposal in July. But at the same time, the people that come into this program will be working with the students in Taiwan, and because right now they're here to go into the households, to plan how to do this, to plan the communication with universities, to plan the communication with the banks. So so this activity, if you do come in, when you come into this, the students over here can already share with you what's going on and what they're going to do from now to July. And then after July will be you implementing in Kyoto. Then the students, in Taiwan can learn from your experience. So I think if we are able to build this within this year, that the students experience it, including you, because you'll be getting these communications from them, the first half year to experience what's going on in Taiwan. And then at the same time, designing what should be done in Kyoto. And then if we're able to aim for end of the year to actually go to the field, and then the students in Taiwan will be able to learn from yours. And then next year we can find other countries to do it
Very
together.
local.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
This is such a the brilliant example of actual exchange.
Yeah.
Of everything, knowledges, ideas, and experiences. So yeah, hopefully there are going to be many students who be interested in and enjoying this project. I think again, with online like this, you can actually study language and also different culture, different mindset ideas. So hopefully you're not going to miss this chance and then become the change maker together. Yeah.
All right.
Excited.
So it's a pleasure meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's quite an honor.
Thank you so much.
This make my perfect Saturday. Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
All
Look
right,
forward to our next call.
everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely Sunday.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.
See you soon.